guys, do you want to build you a good chicken feeder cheap? Well, good morning, guys. Welcome back to Poorboys Little Homestead / Papa's Place. Guys, today I'm out here and I'm finna build me another chicken feeder out of a 5-gallon bucket. Now, the first one of these I built, and it's still out there in the chicken pen, been out there a few years now. I just used a PVC fitting to make my chicken feeder. But now they sell these little chicken feeder ports. You can get these. This one here comes with 4 of them in a pack. And it's got the little port, the little O-ring washer, and plastic nut that goes on the back. And this kit even comes with the drill bit, the proper size to drill the hole in your bucket. Well, I'm wanting to build me another chicken feeder, and I thought I'd show y'all how this works. But first, why I'm building me another chicken feeder is because I got a rooster that I wasn't expecting to have. I back in the spring bought 4 supposed to be hen chicks, supposed to be sexed. Well, when they started raising up, getting older, but one of them wasn't no hen. Turned out to be a rooster. Well, he's a big pretty rooster and I don't want to get rid of him, so I've been just kind of letting him run outside. But once I start planting new stuff in my garden, he can't be running around outside. He's gonna have to have his own pen. So I'm building him a feeder here. Now, this is the first time I've actually used these ports, but I'm gonna tell you I like it. I went on and put one in this bucket. But I'm going to do the next one and show y'all how you put them in. But first, let's go out there and take a look at Edgar. Now guys, that right there is old Edgar. Now when I got Edgar, he was supposed to be a hen. And that fella right there was one of the ugliest chicks I ever seen. He looked like he was crossed with a bald eagle. His head was so big. He was so much bigger than the other 3 chicks that I got when I brought him home. Which that's one of the hens right there, white leghorn. But after he got older, he turned out to be a good looking rooster. I named him Edgar because he's supposed to be an Easter egger rooster. And that's why we building this little feeder. Because I don't want him in the pen with my other chickens, so I'm going to put him in a pen by himself or fix him a feeder out here in the garden area. As long as I ain't got nothing in my garden planted, he can run wild. But that's old Edgar I was wanting to show y'all. But the reason I don't want him in the pen, guys, because once he got big and wanted to start breeding the hens, look at the back of their heads. He's pulling all the feathers out of the back of their heads. I don't guess they're going to turn around where y'all can see. But he was really tearing them up. And that's why I actually got that little rooster in there, because I just wanted couple of little roosters, them little bantam roosters. There's another one, just because I like roosters hearing them crow. But them there ain't big enough to do no damage to my hens, because I ain't trying to hatch no eggs to raise, so I wasn't worrying about them being big enough to breed the hens. Until I actually come along old Edgar standing there. Tried to give him away, can't find nobody that wants him. He turned out so pretty, I like hearing him crow, so I just been letting him walk around here in the garden area. So now let's get back to building our chicken feeder. So what y'all think about old Edgar? He turned out to be a pretty Easter egger rooster, didn't he? He was so ugly when he was little, guys. The other chicks his age would be about that tall, and he was that tall. Had a head that big around. One of the ugliest chickens I ever seen. But he turned out to be a pretty rooster. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna get y'all over here close in these ports. Like I said, it's got the nut, plastic nut. It's got your O-ring washer right here. And then it's got the port. Well, the way these work, you could put all 4 of them in one bucket, but I don't want but 2 of them in this bucket. That way, one pack here, I could get 2 feeders out of. But you want to measure up from the bottom of your bucket 3.5 inches and put your mark. Now I'm going to get y'all over here closer so you can really see this. Alright guys, I got y'all down here where y'all can see this, but like I was saying, you want to measure up from the bottom of your bucket 3.5 inches. And this little kit here comes with a 3-inch round bit. See, I didn't have my bit drilled tight enough. But you just drill your hole through that bucket. And guys, you want this, like I said, 3.5 inches, because this is going to go in here like that. With that hole here facing down. This little shield sticking out here is like a rain shield. Put your O-ring on your port. Slide your port right in that 3-inch hole. Take your plastic nut, stick in the bucket over the port, and screw it on there. Y'all can't see down in the bucket now, but it's just a plastic nut, and I'm holding it with my hand, and actually right now I'm turning it with the port here until it starts getting snug. Then you want this lip right here on the top, 'cause that's kind of like a rain protector. And then just tighten it up tight as you can tighten it with one hand. That's all it needs. And there you are. We got a feeder with 2 ports on it. Guys, that's how quick it is to make you a feeder with these ports. Chicken feeder ports. Now another good thing about these, they send little plugs. If you have problems with mice eating your chicken feed, getting in your chicken pen, such, you can go out there every evening, put these little ports in the hole right there where ain't no mice just conveniently jump in there and eat your feed or birds or anything else. So that's pretty snazzy. But I'm going to leave these ports. I'm going to have a link in the description below this video right here where you can go and purchase these ports if you like to. These, like I said, chicken feeder ports. This one here had 4 in the pack. And guys, like I was saying, I made one of these feeders using PVC fittings. That's because I had a PVC fitting on hand at the time. But if you have to go buy the PVC fittings, as high as things are nowadays, you can just buy these ports here. Comes with a little bit. You're set to go. Stick them in there, and that's all you need is a bucket. Now, speaking of bucket, I know some of you out there is going to say, well, that right there looks like that was I'm going to read it to you. Premium tractor hydraulic fluid bucket. Yes, sir, that's what it was. I changed the hydraulic fluid in my tractor, and that's a good bucket. Some of you say, well, that needs to be a food grade bucket. Well, I'll tell you how I feel about that. This little bucket right here is made of polyurethane. And I'm gonna just make it short. I ain't gonna go through a whole list here, but polyurethane comes from ethylene. Make it a little shorter, ethylene comes from petroleum. Right straight out of the ground. It don't matter if that bucket's a food grade bucket or it ain't a food grade bucket. It's still made of polyethylene. So some of you gonna say, yeah, but it had oil in the inside. Yes, it did. Made from the same stuff. And I cleaned this bucket real good. I used old Dawn. Y'all know what Dawn dishwashing detergent is? Cuts grease right out the way. Some really good stuff. Been around for years. If it make you feel any better, back years ago when they had the big oil spill in the Gulf, they used Dawn to cut the grease out the way. Clean up the beaches, clean up the birds, clean up the animals. Cuts grease out the way pretty good. So I don't think it's nothing that's in this bucket that's gonna do no harm to the chickens that ain't in the so-called food grade buckets themselves. But each is to their own. If you feel like you need a food grade bucket, by all means go buy you a food grade bucket to make your chicken feeders out of. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to show y'all how you make your chicken feeder. And we're gonna go out there and I'm gonna put some grain in here and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you. You just pour your chicken feed in there. Chicken just walks up there, sticks his head in there, and he eats. As they eat, the grain's just gonna slowly flow down. So you got 5-gallon food there, so that'll last a little while. Alright guys, with magic of the camera, I went out there and I filled the bucket a little over halfway with corn right there. I'm gonna get y'all over here real close and show you how the corn just settles in the bottom of each hole. There's the corn in the bucket. There's how it settles. The chicken's just gonna stick his head right there and start eating, and as it eats, corn keeps coming down. Both sides like that right there. Like I said, you could put 4. That's why they're saying 4. You can put 4 of them in a bucket. Instead of having 4 in one bucket, I'd rather have 2 and have 2 buckets, and that's 10 gallons of feed. If you got a lot of chickens, 10 gallons of feed will last a while. Now, a good tip is if you're gonna use this type feeder with these ports, you got full-grown chickens, you don't need to set the bucket straight on the ground because the chickens can't hardly squat down there to get in there to eat. You want to set your bucket up on something, get it off the ground about that high, about 4 inches. That way the chicken can just walk right up to it and eat. Now this bucket, the pen I'm going to put it in, I'm actually going to have it hanging so I can adjust the height. I want it from the ground so it'll be hanging. And of course I got a lid to go on the bucket. But guys, again, these are chicken feeder ports. I'll be in the description below this video, where you can just go to the link and click on it. You can go purchase these if you so choose to, but I'm going to tell y'all, this makes a good chicken feeder. And you can mail one of these cheaper than them you going to buy. And these here will last forever. But guys, if you like these little videos, if they're helpful to you, please give me a thumbs up. Share my videos with anyone you think may like watching these type videos. And as always, I hope y'all have a great day. God bless. See y'all next time.